Hey there, gang. Time for another unboxing video. As always, I will be breaking into this box of comics to grade them for sale on eBay, and I have no idea what is in this box. Now, it is just a regular short box. It's not a giant box. I just have a very tiny Skeletor. Yes, I know. That's what she said. But anyway, if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. And, I apologize if this initial preamble gets old for some of you, but, I always worry that, every video, like they say about comic books, every comic book could be somebody's first. Every video could be somebody's first. So just want to explain real quick what I'm doing here. I grade comic books for a living, not for CGC or one of those companies that puts them in the slabs, but just for a reseller that sells books online, primarily a lot of different sales outlets, but most of our books are sold right on eBay. And the books that we sell as what we call raw singles, those end up here on my desk, and I do the grading. So if you get a book on eBay from .com Comics and you don't like the grade, well, so I always say I'm the fella you're pissed at. So this box, we know it's not going to have any high-end big dollar books. Those have already been segregated out of the collections that we have purchased. Those have gone to CGC and will end up auctioned on a site called comiclink.com. But there shouldn't be any, lowballs in here either. Those also have been separated out, and those have gone into either multi-book lots sold on eBay or right into the dollar boxes in our retail store, which is .com Comics in Freeport, Maine. So please like, share, subscribe, do all the groovy things. Leave a comment if you want to be entered to win this World of Smallville PVC set. Well, I got about 10 or 12 more subscribers to go. Once I get to 247, we'll be doing a random draw to give this away. So just be a subscriber, leave a comment, and boom, you are entered. So let's get into this box and see what we've got here. And right off the top, we have Adjectiveless Spider-Man. And that is a... This is the regular edition. There are about 7 editions of this book, and this one in the poly bag with the direct sales box there. This is the most common of them, and I call this the booger cover because it comes in different covers. There's a gold edition, a silver edition, and this one, it just looks to me like it's got that slime green. And then, what I know is the webbing, but just looks like, streams of snot. This cover's always looked to me like Galactus sneezed, and the snot fell right on Spidey, and he's down in his McFarlane crouch, like, ew, gross. But anyway, so you won't find this listed as the booger cover in any price guides, but I call it the booger cover. And there's nothing in these bags other than the comic. There's no cards or anything. But here is 1, 2, and here's one of the other versions that I spoke about. Well, here's a third one of that regular one, and this is the silver edition. So I guess what we could do is we could talk a bit about the different editions of Spidey, just so that you are aware of them. So as we mentioned, this is the common one in the poly bag. Direct sales, and that goes for about $10. Then there is a version that went to newsstands, and it's the same thing. It is this cover in a poly bag, but it's got the UPC code down here, and that's like a $12 book. Now, if either version you get, it's raw, it's been removed from the poly bag, whether it's direct sales or the newsstand, those tend to go for the same, about $6. And really, I think that should be different myself, because the newsstand is going to be much rarer, more rare. Because if some kid got it on the newsstand, that's likely a casual reader, not a rabid fanboy collector. So they did the unthinkable. They read the damn thing, probably more than once. And it didn't go right into a comic bag with a backing board. It didn't end up in a box. It probably sat around the kid's room, uh, thrown at the dog, whatever. And and so you're going to find, when you get these raw, you're going to find the newsstand version in high grade, much less often than the direct sales version. So yeah, I think just by scarcity, the high grade ones should be more. But again, price guides will tell you that if you take it out of the bag, whichever version you have, that goes for a little less. So then you have the silver version. Which way to go? There it is. And the silver version was only direct sales, and this also came in a poly bag. So in the poly bag, it's about a $12 book. If it's been taken out, then it's about a $10 book. And these prices I'm giving are near mint, 9.4. And often if it's been taken out of the bag, it's not a 9.4. Often, actually, even if it's in the bag, it's not a 9.4. And I'll talk about that in a minute here. The other versions that you have, there is what they call the platinum version, and that is essentially the regular cover, but with the silver ink on the logo and the webbing. So they refer to that as the platinum one, and that's the one to have. That one is $225. And as far as I know, that one only came raw. It did not come in a poly bag. And then you've got one that's like this, but instead of silver, it's gold. And the gold edition is the second print, and that goes for about $20. And so that's one of those cases where the second print is, the rarer again, less plentiful. Let's say that. The second print is less plentiful than the first print. And so those gold ones go for, like I said, $20, whereas the normal book just goes for about 10 and the silver 12. The silver is a first print. It's just a variant of the first print. And then if you have a gold cover with a UPC code, that is a book that was exclusive to Walmart, and that goes for about $150. So that's not a bad book to have either. Again, a gold cover with a UPC code here. And the gold covers, whether they are the direct sales one or the Walmart one, those, as far as I know, also were raw. Those were not sold in poly bags. So I mentioned the grading in the poly bag, and you can maybe see it here on the cover of this one. See, the thing is, these poly bags have a seam in them, and what happens is that seam, when they're resting in a stack of books, that seam will rub color off the back cover. And it's not so prevalent here on these Spider-Mans, but X-Force #1 is a book where you will get that book and you'll see this big stripe down the back cover and sometimes down the front cover. And what that is it's that seam that was rubbing, and somebody has taken it out of the poly bag that it was sold in, but that color rub is forever. And then the other thing is that you will get, and you can kind of see it on these books, where the seam from the book that was on top of it has made an indentation here. You can see it in the bag, but it's really hard to tell if it's carries through to the actual cover inside. So there's no way to really grade this book effectively unless you take it out of the poly bag, and most people don't want you to do that. There are some, I have seen some Facebook groups and things like that where people argue that a comic should be taken out of the poly bag immediately. It's got no value inside the bag. But the price guides disagree. The price guides seem to think that an unopened poly bag is the more desirable thing to have, at least as far as pricing goes. You certainly, if your object is to read a comic book, you can't do that if it's still in the bag. But you also, like I said, you can't really grade it effectively because, I don't know if I hold it in the light just right, if you can see that indentation all the way down the center, which again comes from the seam of whatever book was on top of it. Well, one of these most likely. And you really can't tell if that indentation carries through to the actual book or if it's just in the bag, or if it even carries through to pages inside. You know, if this was at the bottom of a big enough stack, and you know, it could be, there are stacks and stacks of these in comic book stores, in warehouses. I mean, this thing sold millions and millions of copies, and most of them were never read. Kind of like X-Force #1, where none of them were ever read. So anyway, that's your lesson on Spider-Man #1. I'm going to have to race through the rest of this box now so that this doesn't end up being too long a video. So here's Spider-Man and Batman. And after the tabloids of the 70s that I remember, the first team-ups, in the 90s, Marvel and DC had a real rash of crossover books, and I don't think you'll ever get that again. I don't think the companies will work closely enough that you could ever get a Batman Spider-Man book again. But there it is. $2.90. Peter pops the question. Are there 2 books in here? No, that's just a board. So, and that's a tough book to get in high grade because of the white cover. This is a direct sales version. There's no UPC box at all. Huh. I'll have to look into that. This is the hologram cover, and this was a 30th anniversary set, so every Spider-Man title at the time. So there was Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, there was the Adjectiveless Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man was the other one. And so they all had these matching hologram covers, and I don't know, it's probably hard for you to actually see what's on that hologram. Maybe I'm hypnotizing you right now. Maybe I'm sending you into an epileptic fit. I don't know. Are you having a seizure? Call 911. All right. Well, this is a fun book. This is a low grade, but this is Batman 181. This is the first appearance of Poison Ivy, which apparently somebody was willing to sell for $1.25. It is pretty low grade, but I think it's worth more than a $1.25. Superman 423, the last issue of the first volume. And that's a good story. This pairs with the Action Comics. Oh, I'm going to forget the issue number. 5 something. You know, now I'm a bad fan. I can't remember. But it's a 2-part with the last Action comic. Batman 428, the death of Jason Todd. He could have stayed dead for all I care. And if you're not aware, if you're young enough, you don't know, DC ran a phone poll. And yes, this is before the internet. And you could call in to this 800 number and vote whether you wanted, because the story started in 426. And you could vote whether you wanted Jason Todd to live or die. And I was one of those people who called in to kill him off. Because I hated Jason Todd. I liked Jason Todd when he was first introduced, but after the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, they reintroduced him as this like street punk. And I hated that version of the character. And so I voted to kill him off. So, but anyway, they had the results in time to include it in this issue to give, and apparently they did prepare endings for both ways, so they could rush to the printer whichever one won. Incredible Hulk 377, the first Professor Hulk appearance. Thor 411, first New Warriors. Silver Surfer Annual 6, which is the first appearance of this particular version of Captain Marvel, who's kind of since gone away and nobody cares about him anymore. But he was a thing there for a hot minute. And so that's his first appearance. Incredible Hulk 212 with Whiplash here. No, that's not Whiplash. Who is that? Well, again, I've been a really bad fan this time out. I don't know anything. Everyone looks kind of stout on this cover. And I don't think this isn't a key or anything, I don't think. It's just a nice Bronze Age Hulk. Oh, I like the Soviet super soldiers. Crimson Dynamo, and oh God, I'm being so horrible. Maybe I'm getting Alzheimer's. I can't remember their names. He's Ursa Major. She was in the Defenders. I want to say her name was Darkstar. And maybe he's the Proletariat. I can't really remember his name either. But anyway, they were cool. And he from from the height of cool to the height of not. These are the Rangers, and so these are all Western heroes. There's Red Wolf. He's cool. The original Ghost Rider. He's cool. This guy's called the Texas Twister, and you can obviously figure out his power. I can't remember either of these chicks. Here is Hulk, Sasquatch, and Wendigo. It looks like they're about to have a three-way. So, if you are need to get your abominable monster gay sex thing satisfied, then this is the issue for you. It's a good thing I'm not monetized, I guess, because that would have done it. So here's a Hulk 324, Incredible Hulk 324, with a take on the cover from the first issue. All right, next step, and a little bit more Incredible Hulk here. These are McFarlane issues, I believe, which is what makes them worth selling as singles. Thor, nice Bronze Age Thor, 90 cents. Wow, that'll go for much more than 90 cents. Is a Walt Simonson Copper Age Thor with Beta Ray Bill. There's a new Beta Ray Bill series that is about to come out, and some people on the internet are really clamoring for it, like they think it's going to be the greatest thing. It's not on my pull list, so if you get the new Beta Ray Bill series and you think it's great, let me know. Maybe I'll need to pick those up as back issues. Here's some more Beta Ray Bill. Whomsoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy. I did that just for some of you out there. I liked the Thunderella, the Jane Foster Thor. I don't know how much I'm going to like Natalie Portman as Thor, but at least the Jason Aaron version in the comics I actually enjoyed. Guardians of the Galaxy #1, believe it or not, that's a $20 book. There's some more Thor for you in the Simonson run. And the Simonson run of Thor is a lot like the Frank Miller run of Daredevil. We remember it as this longer thing than it actually was, at least in terms of him drawing the thing. It wasn't too soon before he was just doing covers and writing. Sleepwalker #1. Wow. Now, do you even remember who Sleepwalker was? How long has it been since Sleepwalker was in a Marvel comic? I'm surprised we're going to sell that as a single. I'm going to have to keep a watch on that. I'll be surprised if that gets to the $10 mark, but we'll see. This one definitely will, though. This is in this grade, you can see all these tears here. This is probably a $30 book. But Black Lightning #1. Hurrah, hurrah. Thunderous origin issue. Get it? Thunder and lightning? That's clever. Next stack. Crisis on Infinite Earths, #7. The Death of Supergirl. Don't worry, she got better. There's another one for you. And there's issue 8, Death of the Flash. This one is a newsstand copy. Back to Dead Supergirl. Can you name all the characters on this cover? Go ahead, pause the screen right there and see if you can name them all. And let me know how many you get right. Back to Dead Flash, and again, he also got better. He was dead for a long time, though. And these two are direct sales versions. Well, this is interesting. Huh. So this is a free comic day book. I'm not sure which year this is. All new 52 with the Dopey Peel seal. And this was sold at Wally's Pop Comics in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So this book has traveled a long way from Louisiana up to Maine. And even though it was given away for free, we're going to try and sell it on eBay. And apparently we think it's going to go for at least $10. That's why it's in the raw single pile. It's another one that will surprise me if it goes for that much. Here's a 2007 Free Comic Book Day book. And I think Free Comic Book Day might be at least as well organized as it has been. It's a thing of the past. I mean, it was totally foobarred last year during COVID. Here's another one from Wally's Pop Comics in Baton Rouge. You tell me. Look it up. I know some of you will, and I'm thankful for that because I'm too lazy to do that research. I know it's a 2-second Google, but let me know in the comments below if Wally's Pop Comics is still in business. That would have been like a decade ago that these books came out. So it'd be interesting to know if Wally is still around. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, Free Comic Book Day was foobarred last year, and it doesn't look like it's going to be much this year. And I don't know if DC is participating at all, because, I mean, they're certainly not participating through Diamond. And Diamond is such a hot mess that, I don't know. So I think if Free Comic Book Day continues, I think it's going to be in some kind of a looser, more regional affiliation, something more done by the individual stores. And I will say, these, I don't know, this doesn't look like a stamp. Well, maybe it's a stamp, but it looks printed on there. And not for resale. Sorry. We are reselling it. But I've never seen any store in Maine that has ever marked their Free Comic Book Day books. I know that that's what that's for, but anyway, Clone Wars Adventures. Now we're switching gears. Monster of Frankenstein, #1, some nice Mike Ploog art. I really like Mike Ploog. He learned a lot from Will Eisner. I believe he was in the Will Eisner studio for a while. But Monster of Frankenstein, #1. Here's Commandy, the Last Boy on Earth, #1. Pretty nice. Well, there's a little damage down here at the bottom. Maybe it's mid-grade. Avengers 28, back at last. Giant Man. What the hell is this? What did some kid draw here, and why just there? Well, that's weird. Friggin' kids. Comic books are not for kids. Beware the Creeper, #1. That's a great series, by the way, with some fantastic Steve Ditko art. And I recommend that if you can find it. Tales of Asgard, #1. First appearance of the Red Guardian. This book took off a little bit, but I think because of the length of time that it has taken for the Black Widow movie to actually come out, it seems like it's cooled off somewhat. Recent sales for us on this haven't, been quite so spiky as earlier ones were. So, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, #1. There's another #1. Is this? Oh, Friggly Dig. This is going to be on that book, isn't it? They're all direct sales copies. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7. There's 8. 8. Ho, ho, ho. 8 Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Ho, ho, ho. Little Sesame Street count there for you. And they're all direct sales copies. We will hopefully space those out. I mean, I'll get them graded up and they'll go to the lister. And then when the person who lists the singles, it's actually another person who posts them to eBay. Hopefully that person will space these out. Because what I have found is if you post, and this is, just a little tip of the hat to you, if you're selling books on eBay and you've got any kind of volume at all, and you post like the same book back to back, you'll end up cannibalizing your sale. You kind of don't want the same book running during the same 5-day period, unless one's a variant or they are vastly different grades. So it's not just that you don't want them posted back to back, one right after the other. If you can help it, you really don't want the same issue posted during the same 5-day span that an auction is live, because again, they will cannibalize each other. People will not bid on one because they bid on the other, or they won't bid on one because they're waiting to see what it goes for, and then they'll bid on the other. So yeah, my advice to you is if you have some of the same book, always try and space them out. New Mutants #1, so that's always a good book. Freedom Fighters #1. We saw this just recently. So here's another copy. And yeah, I liked that book as a kid. All right, gang, we are about halfway through this box, but so that this video does not get too oppressively long, we're going to cut things off right here. So come back tomorrow, same Duke time, same Duke channel, and we'll finish off this box, see what else we have to look at, to geek out on, and to talk about. So until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.